To get started on the ninth project, download the Aerospace zip file and place your name on the new folder once it's uncompressed. Inside of this new folder, you're going to see we're going to work with a variety of different file types to build out a newsletter. One of the newest file types that we're going to start off with is this InDesign template, INDT. Templates come in handy whenever you have to create the same document over and over again, like a newspaper or a magazine, and all you're doing is changing the content. So you can make one template, set up the file size and the structure of it, and then all you have to do is open it up and it'll give you a fresh document exactly the way you want. However, if we need to make a change to this template, we have to open it up in a special way. So the first thing we're going to do is go to InDesign itself. Let's go up to File and Open. And then let's navigate to find that InDesign template file. Again, make sure you're in the folder with your name on it. When you select the InDesign template, under the options, choose Open Original. This will open up the template file and not create a normal InDesign document. Now when we say open, it's going to give us two warnings. The first warning is that there are some links or some pictures that have been modified and need updating. We're going to say don't update those links. And the second warning pertains to our missing fonts. Right now there's a font that's a part of this document that I don't have loaded onto my computer. As a matter of fact, we don't have it at all, so we'll need to be able to change out this font. For now, I'm going to say close. And to give you a brief tour of this document, usually it should open up in the master page mode. I'm going to open up my Pages panel. If you don't see it, you can go to Window, down to Pages. There it is. If you double-click page 1, this will go into normal page 1 mode. However, if you go to the top of your Pages panel, you'll notice that there's a bar. I'm going to click and drag down if you don't see everything, and you should see an A front and a B back. If you double-click on A front, this will go to the A front master page, and this is the main page that we want to first start to edit. If you ever see any text that's highlighted in pink the way you see it here, that simply means that's the font that's missing. I'm going to grab my type tool and then click once inside of this area, and you can see for my font it's listing it as none. That means that font has not been loaded, so we need to find and replace it. Let's go up to Type and down to Find Font, and from here we can find and replace different fonts that are needed. I'm going to choose ATC Collada from here, and we're going to replace it with, we'll click under the font family, ATC Onyx. We'll keep the font as regular, and then we'll do Change All, and this will go through and change up every instance of that font and replace it with ATC Onyx. When we're finished with it, we can hit Done and continue on. If we want to update any of the images that have been missing or modified, we need to open our Links panel. I see my links is right below my Pages panel, so I can click on this. And as with the other ones, if you don't see everything, you can always drag down. I've got two images. One of them has been modified and the other is completely missing. If you click on this first link on the far right-hand side of the links page, it'll go directly to that particular item. So if I click on the little A, it'll take me to this one, which is selected, and you can see it's got the yellow triangle, caution triangle. That means this font has been modified in some way and the link has not been updated. To easily update these images, we're going to choose our white arrow direct selection tool, and all you need to do is to click once on the little icon at the very top, and you can see it changes to a little link icon, and this has been replaced with our newest logo that's placed there. You can do the same to a missing document or a missing image as well. If you carefully click on the little question mark, in this case it's going to ask us to find the image that's missing, or we can replace it with something altogether. In our case, we want to navigate to the Highlight July TIFF. This is down here at the bottom. This will be a completely different image altogether because when we say open, it replaces that airplane picture with the space picture. This is a good time to save our documents. Let's go to File, down to Save, and continue on. Now we need to edit our margins and our column guides. If you go to your Pages panel, remember we're still working in the A front document. So to change up the margins and the columns, we can go to Layout, choose Margins and Columns, and let's make sure the preview is checked on. We're going to change the left and right columns to 1/2 inch. And we're going to set the number of columns from 4 down to 3, giving it a gutter of 0.2 inches. We can say OK. Now you can see our pink margins and guides have thinner guides and 3 different columns, but there's one slight problem. The text box inside of it still is set up to have 4 columns inside of that, so we need to change up the size of our text columns as well. So I'm going to grab my black arrow selection tool, click once on the text frame inside of it. We're going to click on the edges of it and drag it over so that it's the size of our margins, just like that. And to change up the number of columns inside of your text box, let's go up to Object, Text Frame Options, and from here we're going to set our number of columns to be the same as our margins and columns. So we'll set that to 3 with a gutter of 0.2. If we hit Preview, you get an idea of what it looks like, and then we can say OK, and now our text box is set up and working nicely. Again, we'll go to File and Save and continue on. With it saved, the next thing we'll do is completely close out this InDesign document. Now if I was to go and open up this template like normal, it should give me a regular InDesign document. So we'll go to File and Open, locate your newsletter template file, and make sure Open Normal is selected. We'll say Open. It looks exactly the same, but check out the name that's given to it. It's the default untitled and then whatever number. This means whatever changes I make to this document won't be saved on top of the original template. It's creating a separate document altogether. Let's make some changes to this one. If we go to our Pages panel, double-click on Page 1, and you can see Page 1 looks nothing like we want our front of our newsletter to look. So to apply the A master page to Page 1, click on the master page and drag it down to Page 1. And when you let go, you can see everything has been applied to this particular document page. Let's do the same for the back page. Click on the back and drag it down below Page 1. This will create a second page that looks like the B master page. Now your document has 2 different pages to it. What the book's going to have us do next is to save this document as a template file. So I'm going to go to File and Save As. Do make sure you've got the original Aerospace folder that you've been working in selected. And let's give it the name of ARAA Newsletter. And we're going to change the format from an InDesign document to an InDesign template. Notice, however, the name of this newsletter is exactly the same as our original newsletter. That's okay, because when we hit Save, it's going to ask us, do we want to replace the existing one? Choose Replace. And then now this is saved as an InDesign template, and it's got the modifications to Page 1 and Page 2 that we've applied. With it done, we can close this out and continue on. Now let's open that InDesign template like it's a regular document. We'll go up to File and Open. Find that template one more time. This time, make sure Open Normal is selected. And when we hit Open, let's immediately go up to File and Save As. And this time we're going to call it Newsletter July. And make sure you add your name to it as well. We're going to keep the format as an InDesign document. Make sure you're saving in the Aerospace folder and hit Save. With it open, go to your Pages panel and double-click Page 1 to make sure that we're working on the first page. I'm going to hit Command and the plus sign also to zoom in so you can see the area that I'm working with. I'm going to choose my selection tool, and if you've got anything from a master page, for instance all of this text that's on top of here, it's locked down on Page 1. This means I can't select it or make any changes to it. And this is tough because I want to change up some of the text that's already in there. So if I want to unlock any part of this particular master page item, there's 2 things we can do. If you hold down the Shift and Command key on your keyboard when you click on something such as the date, you can see that it blinks and it unlocks, and now I can move it around and actually make edits to this. Or I'll go up to Edit and Undo. If I want to unlock everything that's on this page, I can go to my Page 1, hold down the Control key, click on it, and then choose Override All Master Page Items. This will unlock everything that's on this particular page, and it will allow me to make edits to it. So with this one, I've got everything unlocked. Choose your type tool. Let's go over to the date and change January to July. And we're going to change the issue number to issue number 3. The next thing we want to do is to go to our bottom of our page, and let's place a PDF into this image frame. We'll go up to File, down to Place. Make sure we're working in our Aerospace folder. And let's select the Spotlight Add PDF. With that selected, make sure Replace Selected Items is unchecked, but Show Import Items is checked on. We'll say Open. Within these options, you can show preview and give you an idea of what it looks like. And we're going to crop this to the bleed. When we say OK, remember this will follow your cursor until you click once into the frame at the bottom of your page. Once it's placed, click on the little content grabber circle in the middle of the image, and then let's nudge it down just a bit. Choose the top left reference point and set your Y plus value to be negative 0.125. We'll hit return, and that will nudge it up just a little bit into place. I'll do Command 0 to back out. We'll go up to File and Save and continue on. Now, in addition to placing text, images, and PDFs into an InDesign document, we can scroll to page 2, and we're going to place another InDesign document into this InDesign document. So now that we're on page 2, let's go to File and Place, and let's locate the Angels Add. It's inside of the Angels Add folder, and here's the Angels Add InDesign file. Do make sure Show Import Options is checked on and Replace is unchecked. And when we hit Open, you get a preview of what it looks like. And we're going to change our crop to the bleed bounding box. When we say OK, this will give us a warning saying that there's a missing link within that new InDesign file. We'll say OK to that. And we're going to click our cursor on the left side into this empty frame, and it's going to place it into that frame. As with the other one, we're going to click on the content grabber to select the image inside of the frame, and let's nudge it over. Going back up to our X plus field, let's set that to be 0, and that will move it over into place. Now to see what part of this ad is missing, let's go back to our links panel, and you can see we have our Angels Add InDesign file, and if you click on the little drop down arrow, we'll pull this down so I can see it. You can see that the Angels TIFF is completely missing and the Clipped Angels Photoshop file has been modified. So with the Angels Add InDesign link selected, click on the little Edit Original icon at the bottom right hand side of this links panel. It'll give you this warning saying, hey, it's contained missing links, totally fine. We're going to click on Don't Update Links. And you'll notice now that this opens a completely new InDesign file. So pay attention that you're working on either the Angels Add InDesign file or the new newsletter that we recently created. Right now we're just working in the advertisement. So let's click on that modified Photoshop file to modify that. So one click with this one, a double click, will automatically update that Photoshop file. And then if we double click the missing file, the little red question mark circle, this will ask us to find the thing that's being replaced. In our case, we'll go back to the Angels Add, go to the links, and then click on the Angels Information TIFF. When we say Open, we'll say OK to that. This will place it and replace it, and now we've got a good looking document. With that done, we can save this up. So let's go to File and Save. Now when I close this InDesign document and jump back into our original, it may take just a second, but you can see it updates, and now we've got no missing or modified links in our links panel. As with this one, we're also going to save our file and continue on to stage 2.